The intercom in my hand buzzed twice, hard enough to rattle my knuckles, even though I'd already ripped it off the wall. I was in Malaysia, in Georgetown, on Penang Island, standing barefoot on a damp tiled landing that always smelled like rainwater and fried food drifting up from the street. The fluorescent tube over the mailboxes flickered. Somewhere below, a scooter coughed and faded. Then the speaker on the receiver crackled and a whisper slid out in my own voice. "Pick up. I can hear you holding me." I stared at the cut wires hanging from the base like veins and realized I wasn't alone in the hallway. I moved to Georgetown for a short work contract and rented a small walk-up flat above old shop houses. The hallway was narrow. The walls were painted too many times, and the tiles stayed cool, even in the sticky evening humidity. When it rained, the corrugated metal awnings outside turned the whole block into a drum. When it didn't, the air carried grilled seafood and noodle broth from a hawker stall at the corner. At night, you could hear ceiling fans ticking through closed doors. My landlord, Mr. Lim, handed me 2 keys and pointed to the intercom mounted beside my door. An old wired handset with a coiled cord. That same day, Auntie Nita from across the hall stopped me on the stairs and glanced at the handset like it might glance back. "Only rule here," she said. "If the intercom buzzes twice after midnight, don't pick up." She added one more thing, so quiet I almost missed it. 2 buzzes means it's already inside, the first time it happened. I woke at 12:41 a.m. to 2 quick buzzes drilling through the wall. I sat up, staring at the intercom's shadow. The hallway outside my door was still. No footsteps, no voices. I didn't pick up. The buzzing stopped. A second later, the building's front gate latch clicked downstairs. Slow, deliberate, like someone had just been let in. Soft steps started climbing the tiled stairwell. Not heavy, not rushed. Like someone taking their time to arrive. Halfway up, the steps paused. 2 quick buzzes again. I stayed silent until the steps reached my floor and stopped right outside my door. In the morning, I tried to laugh it often till I saw 2 damp footprints on the landing. Toes pointed straight at my intercom. Or I asked Mr. Lim about it. He shrugged. Old building, wiring weird. Auntie Nita didn't shrug. "It learns from voices," she said. Last tenant answered. After that, he heard himself in the stairwell. Then he stopped talking. I wanted a practical explanation, so I went downstairs and stared at the lobby monitor above the mailboxes. Grainy camera feeds. A clock in the corner. A gate camera under the awning outside. That night, I asked Mr. Lim to rewind the recorder to 12:41 a.m. He muttered, unlocked a metal cabinet, and hit play. Rain streaked the lens. The gate stood half-lit. A person stepped into frame and stopped under the awning. Head tilted toward the intercom panel, like they were listening to the building breathe. They raised a hand. In their fist was my work lanyard, my name on a paper insert, hanging from the exact knot I tie. My lanyard was upstairs on my kitchen chair. I was watching myself be proven wrong. On the screen, the figure pressed the call button. The gate latch released. They didn't push the gate open. They just stood there while it drifted inward by itself. After that, everything changed shape. The next night, the intercom buzzed once at 1:06 a.m. Relief hit me. One buzz meant gate. Outside, normal. I lifted the receiver without thinking. Static, then a breath, right beside my ear. Not on the line, like someone exhaled through the plastic. I slammed it down. From the hallway, I heard a soft, wrong rehearsal. My own voice murmuring my name, stretched like a slowed recording. It wasn't loud, it was confident, like it knew I was listening. When I pressed my ear to the door, there was nothing. When I pressed my ear to the intercom base, the murmuring stopped. The following evening, a note appeared on my doormat. No envelope, just a torn scrap of paper with one sentence in my handwriting. Don't keep me waiting. At 12:22 a.m., 2 quick buzzes came again. I followed the rule and didn't pick up. The speaker crackled anyway, without me lifting the receiver. A whisper slid out, warm and approving. Good. Then a new sound, a fingernail tapping my door. Not a knock, testing, patient. The tapping moved down the hallway, door to door, like someone searching for the right name to fit their mouth. Across the hall, Auntie Nita shouted, "Go away." Her voice came out hoarse, like she'd been holding her breath too long. My intercom buzzed twice immediately, sharp and offended. I kept my hands away from it. A heavy thud hit Auntie Nita's door from the hallway side. Her shout broke into a wet cough. I almost answered then. I almost made the mistake for both of us. Instead, I watched through my peephole as her door shivered, steady pressure from the outside, while no one stood in view. The next morning, Auntie Nita wouldn't meet my eyes. "You thought about picking up," she said, not angry, certain it hears you even when you don't speak. That was the first real complication. Obeying kept me safe, but it didn't stop it from choosing someone else. I finally understood why when I took the intercom apart. 2 screws, a plastic cover, thin wires into the wall. Put on the back plate, someone had carved tiny tally marks. 2 lines, then 2 more, like a habit. I asked Auntie Nita to help me test something. She stood in her doorway at 11:58 p.m. and lifted her receiver without speaking. The moment she did, my intercom buzzed twice. Auntie Nita dropped her handset like it burned. "See," she whispered, "to buzzers isn't the gate. It was the shared line. This building's intercoms weren't separate. Anyone who lifted their handset opened the line for the whole floor. If someone bridged it after midnight, they could listen through any unit that answered. Auntie Nita's rule wasn't superstition. It was a firewall. Because picking up didn't just let you hear them, it let them learn you. That night, when the 2 buzzers came, I stayed silent. The whisper tried a different tactic. It used my voice, bright and casual, like a friend at the gate. "Hey, it's me. I forgot my keys." I didn't move. The voice changed again. Auntie Nita's voice, this time strained. "Help, please." My stomach clenched. The rule didn't say anything about guilt. I still didn't pick up. The whisper laughed softly through the speaker, then went quiet, like it had proved a point. I left. I booked a cheap room across town, somewhere with clean hallways and a different kind of silence. I fell asleep with the lights on. At 12:41 a.m., 2 quick buzzes vibrated against my palm. I woke gripping a handset. The intercom receiver lay on the guest house bed, its coiled cord trailing into nothing. I hadn't packed it. I hadn't even touched it since the night before. It buzzed twice again. My voice came through, calm as a voicemail. You left the line open. I tossed it into the bathroom sink and shut the door. The buzzing continued through the thin wood, steady, patient. When I opened the door to show the owner, the sink was empty. Only a wet ring remained. I told myself I imagined it until I saw a missed call on my phone with no number. Time-stamped 12:41 a.m. call. Duration 0:02. 2 seconds. 2 buzzes, like a signature. Before dawn, I went back to my flat to grab the essentials and cut the building out of my life. The lobby monitor showed empty stairwells. The clock on screen ticked like it was counting for someone. Outside my door, the intercom was back on the wall, neatly reassembled, as if my screws and prying never happened. The chair I'd wedged under the doorknob was upright again, pushed aside like a polite correction. Inside, my lanyard sat on the kitchen table, coiled carefully. Beside it, the receiver resting on its base like it belonged there. I needed proof that couldn't be shrugged off. I set my phone on a shelf facing the intercom and hit record. At 12:03 a.m., I cut the power at the breaker. The fan slowed. The fridge died. The room went quiet except for rain starting outside. 2 quick buzzes. The receiver lifted off its hook by itself just enough to open the line. A thin voice leaked from the speaker, not mine, like someone talking through wet cloth. Say your name. I stayed silent. The voice tried again, closer. So I can call you. The coiled cord tightened, pulling the receiver higher, like a wrist flexing in the dark. I grabbed it and yanked. The wires tore free from the base. No sparks, no power, yet the plastic vibrated in my hand like a trapped insect. The whisper turned into my voice again, cheerful and certain. It's okay. I already learned it. From the hallway came a careful inhale, mouth pressed close to the crack of my door. My doorknob rotated, slow and steady, like a key turning from the outside. I ran. I didn't pack. I didn't lock up. I sprinted down the wet stairs, shoes slapping tile, phone in one hand and the dead intercom in the other. Behind me, it buzzed twice on every landing, perfectly timed to my footsteps, like it was counting floors. I burst onto the street into warm rain and traffic noise that felt like sunlight. A food cart hissed as oil hit a pan. The smell, sharp, familiar, made my eyes sting. I never went back inside. I moved out while Mr. Lim was away and left most of my things behind. For weeks I spoke softly, like volume could keep my voice from being borrowed. It almost worked. Months later, I walked past an emergency intercom box in an office stairwell. Grey metal, little speaker grill. Same shape of silence around it. 2 quick buzzes. And from behind the grill, my own voice whispered, "Promise me."